What's up, guys? So, Peepo is back. It's been about a month or so since I did a video. Just been really busy. Really busy. So, I'm just going to kind of get right into it, like I always try to do. Today's video is going to be about what I consider to be the best head slash stick that I've ever used in my entire lacrosse career, which didn't involve college lacrosse, unfortunately. I went right into the Army, in case any of you guys don't know that. Went straight into the Army, didn't get to play college. But everybody has their own path. So, my favorite head, above all others, is the Proton Plus from STX, as you guys can see here. And they used to have an STX sticker across the scoop, but I guess they decided to get rid of those. But so, STX Proton Plus, a little bit of history of this head, as I always try to teach a little bit of something about what I'm talking about. And Proton Plus wasn't always the Proton Plus. It was one of the first truly forward cant technology or offset heads out there. There was a couple others. I believe one is not a sniper, but there's another STX one that's similar, where it's pretty much straight, and then it just kind of curves and then comes back out. The name escapes me, but Proton Plus is one of the very few original offset heads out there, and a lot of people kind of gravitated towards it once the straight heads became not illegal, but people decided not to start using them anymore. If you go back and look at old manuals and stuff, if you ever go to like a store and you find these little stringing kits that have a little pamphlet in them, on the STX one, it actually has a Proton Plus or an X2, which is STX's other head. I'll show you that one real quick. It's attached to all these heads, but this is the X2. Pretty much the brother, sister, if you will, of the Proton Plus. And that's the updated version of the Excalibur, which was straight, which is that black head right there. But the Proton Plus wasn't always the Proton Plus. It was originally the Proton, and then there was some legal issue, I forget with who, but it was a legal issue, so STX had to just put a plus at the end of the Proton, and voila, there became the Proton Plus. Now, the design behind this head is very simple. Like, you can't get much simpler than this. Very beefy throat. Very rarely do you see them actually break. I mean, they do, but the throat is very durable. One of the more durable throats out there. Thick front, thick sides, thick back. One screw hole, the STX mandatory hole that's, I guess you could say, ½ inch down from the bottom of the throat, or at least where the ball stop would go. And a lot of people will say, oh, that's a really wide head. When in reality, if you compare it to, say, the Evo 4X, it actually has a much skinnier throat, and a lot of people tend to pinch it, especially box players. Box players love to pinch this head and use it. Catching area is almost perfect. I very rarely don't catch what I'm trying to go for with this head. As we can see, the side wall design is a 1-bar strut, kind of diagonal one going up the head. That's pretty much the mainstay and most obvious thing that gives away a Proton, where the Super Power, the Proton Power 2.0 with C channel, your Proton U, all those heads have this 1 bar. And I mean, any plastic is going to break, but for some reason I don't really have a lot of problems with that. And as you can see, the sidewall holes are very few in number in comparison to, say, the clutch or any other newer head that's out there, but you can achieve a very decent pocket with this head if you know what you're doing. It has the design of the scalloped scoop, just like the Superpower does still today. It's supposed to allow a more fluid release as well as a little bit less traction when it comes to scooping the ball. As you can see here, there is a slight dip in the sidewall from the side, and that is part of this forward cant technology, which gives it its offset. And because of the actual position of this curvature right here, you can achieve a mid to high pocket in this head. Although it's not going to be extremely defined, much like this one is. But then again, I don't really care for super defined pockets. And that's also the thing, is that they're one of the more durable heads out there that I've noticed. Of course, they do break in the scoop, and if you're not careful, they do break at the bottom of the sidewall. Like, there's one under the blackhead right there that I broke the scoop that I posted about recently. Broke the scoop, and it actually ended up playing a little bit better. But so, this head has very few sidewall holes. As you can see on this one, though, somebody drilled the sides before I bought it, and I'm not entirely happy about that. But so, since it's still a little cold and heads are breaking, might as well break the one that's not exactly perfect. But all in all, this is probably top tier, one of my favorite heads of all time. It is my favorite head of all time. And that's why I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One traditional, one mesh. And as those break, transfer them out, put them in these ones, hopefully get a hold of some other ones. But my favorite stick, there's nothing that can really beat it in my book. I have amazing balance with it. That's the thing, like, no matter where the ball is in this head, as long as you get the right pocket for yourself, the balance of the head on pretty much any shaft that I've messed with it, just phenomenal. The ball, you can feel it wherever it is in the head, and it's great. I do have it on my, hopefully you can see that, STX C405 custom alloy shaft, which I have 2 of these thanks to Coach Elliott. I have a newer, or at least fresher one, that actually is originally a short pole. This one, however, is a cut down D pole from way back in high school. These two coupled together is literally my perfect stick. Not much compares to it for me. A couple people have been asking me what it comes to when it comes to stringing. How good or how well or how hard is it? Honestly, it's not that hard. It's got very few holes. If you actually look at an undrilled one, very few holes. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it has the whole classic thing where they have the two grouped close together to finish it off, to lock it down. And as you can see, ignore the drilled holes. As you can see, there's a couple singles, there's a couple doubles, as well as some versions of interlocks. And also, as you can see, it is a 10 diamond top string. I switched to a 10 diamond top string. The last one that broke that's on the door was a 9 diamond, and I'm just kind of messing with the 10 diamond. Although that is originally how I had mine set up when I was still in high school. I had a 10 diamond top because that same manual that I mentioned before was exactly how I learned how to string. Like, that is how I learned, because it had mesh and it had traditional in it. It is from STX, and it has Gary Gate and some other guys on it, and it, like the opposite side of where the manual is a poster. So it was pretty cool. I had one up on my door and stuff, and yeah, just overall very amazing head. It's been changed many times with Proton Power, Super Power, Proton U, and if you guys have been following enough, this is actually a pretty good teaser, there is going to be the Super Power 2.0. I don't know if that's going to be the official name or not, but if you've seen the pictures floating around, I'm not going to share them because knowledge is, you have to go search for it yourself. But it's pretty mean looking. If you compare it to a regular Super Power, I would have to say that it's kind of a blend, at least look-wise. It's a blend between a Tribe 7 Ghost and a Super Power. And it turned out awesome. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I'm not going to get any new heads until that one comes out. So, Head strings up amazingly with mesh, as you guys can see. Doesn't have to have that super defined pocket, and then it strings up with traditionals pretty much just as well. Like, I have no complaints as far as stringing with this head. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And no, I'm not selling or trading the ones that I have, because I'm going to try and make these bad boys last until I die. I'm going to hand them off to my kids and be like, here you go. Hopefully someday I'll be able to do that, but to each his own, I guess. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope you learned a little bit of something about the history of an STX head, which is the Proton Plus. And hopefully you can get your hands on one. It's very popular for defense, but I know a lot of attackmen that like to use it, especially your box players, because the catching area is great, and you can make a huge bag in them if you really want to, and catching and throwing like that is usually what box guys like. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed it. And guess what? I'm back. Next week I'm going to have my next TMM up. It's going to be a little bit of a discussion, but I mean, that's really what TMM is supposed to be, is a discussion. It's not supposed to be anything else. It might be a mix of tutorials, but primarily it's supposed to be just us chatting about styles and methods and everything. So thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you later.